Right, class, good morning. Happy Wednesday. Today is May 20. Today we will finish this unit by talking about some of the different checks and balances that exist within the federal government. So checks and balances are actions. They are powers that each branch of government has that allows them to control and limit the power of the other branches. And the whole purpose of checks and balances is to make sure that no single branch grows too powerful. And by having balance in government, we will have a more just government as a result. So the work for today starts with you taking a judicial branch quote quiz. I put this in quotes because it is only a classwork grade. This is a Google form. It's short. It's just a bunch of multiple choice types of questions. Please get that done by 3 p.m. today. Just a second, we'll take some notes on what those checks and balances are. It will not take us long. And then what you should do after your quiz and notes is make sure you are prepared for your test. Your test will block your Chromebooks or lock your Chromebooks, if you are using one. So making sure you have your notes organized, make sure you understand the material. Your test will get posted tomorrow at 10 a.m. If you have questions about it, please ask me before you start. That test is due 3 p.m. on Friday. Also, any missing or late work that you may still have must be turned in by Friday 3 p.m. Otherwise, it will be entered in officially as a 0. Your test, just so you know, will be a lot of multiple choice types of questions too. Not entirely, but mostly. So your work is to finish that judicial branch quiz and then make sure you're ready for tomorrow's test. So after your quiz, we'll talk about just some different checks and balances that each branch of government has. So the following are things that the legislative branch can do, Congress, the lawmakers in our government, to limit the power of the other ones. So first, things the legislative branch can do to limit the power of the executive branch includes overriding a veto. So if the president vetoes a law with a 2/3 vote, Congress can override that veto and make it a law anyways. Second is they have the power to impeach and then remove government officials. This didn't entirely happen recently, but President Trump did get impeached. To be impeached does not mean you're fired. It does not mean you lose your job. It just means you are formally accused of committing a crime, and you are then going to go to trial to determine if you are innocent or guilty. And President Trump was quite quickly pronounced as being not guilty. The legislative branch also can ratify treaties and declare war. That limits the power of the executive branch, specifically the president. And they confirm appointments that the executive makes. So the president, for example, makes appointments for the Supreme Court. And the job of the Senate, the legislative branch, is to confirm and make those appointments official. That limits the power of the president. For the judicial branch, the Supreme Court and other federal courts, they can also impeach and remove justices, similar to officials in the executive branch. And they confirm justices, the people that the president appoints, to officially admit them into their position as a judge. So once again, these are just examples of what the legislative branch can do to limit the power of the executive and then limit the power of the judicial branch. For the executive branch, these are powers that the executive can do to limit the legislative and judicial branches. First, for the legislative branch, the executive branch can propose and veto laws, the president in particular. They can call for a special session of Congress to ask Congress to meet outside of their regularly scheduled calendar for an emergency situation. This happened recently when our government was shut down and they needed to decide a government budget to make it open up again. So a special session was called to make that happen. For the judicial branch, the executive appoints federal judges. They can grant pardons. They can forgive people of their crimes. Once again, examples for legislative and examples to control the judicial. And these are all things the executive branch can do, powers that they hold, actions to limit the other ones. Then lastly, what the judicial branch can do to limit both branches, it is very simple. They simply declare either acts of Congress, could be a law that they passed, unconstitutional, or they can declare an executive action, maybe an executive order, unconstitutional. So it's the same idea of judicial review, declaring whether or not something's constitutional. All you need to do is make sure you're specific about what exactly they're declaring that. So for the legislative, it's an act of Congress. For the executive, it's an action from the executive, the president. What I need you to do then, make sure you know this stuff. If you have questions about the checks and balances, please let me know. But your Quizlet is updated. There are plenty of review materials as well. I'll post all of those to the top of the Google Classroom stream. Make sure you have your notes in order. Make sure you are prepared for that. I probably will not post a video for this class tomorrow. You simply have to wait until your test gets posted, which once again will happen at 10 a.m. and it'll be due Friday, 3 p.m. And don't forget to have all your missing work done by Friday, 3 p.m. as well. So I'll talk to you on Friday. Have a wonderful rest of your day.